So Anthony Harris signed a 1-year, $5 million deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. This is I'm surprised he went for this low. This is a shock to me. I felt like there was teams that would have given way more. And for Philadelphia, their defense is already pretty good, and this is going to make their defense a lot better. I think they have one of the more real underrated defenses in the league. Their offense, another issue, but you know what? There's a lot he can bring to the table, and again, this just seems like, I'm assuming Harris just couldn't find the long-term deal he wanted, and so is taking kind of a prove-it deal. And for Philadelphia, hey, they've had success with prove-it deals. If you remember, Alshon Jeffrey signed a 1-year prove-it deal and won a Super Bowl that year. So, without a doubt, prove-it deals can be effective. And let's just talk about what Philadelphia, well, really what Anthony Davis is bringing to Philadelphia, what he brings to the table, his pros and his cons. Let's start off with a play from actually 2 years ago. The reason why I'm starting off with a play from 2 years ago is honestly because I wanted to get just to show a splash play he can make, and he's made so many splash plays over his career, but last year was kind of an exception. According to Pro Football Focus's stats, before last year, his career touchdown to interception ratio was 10 interceptions, and he had just given up 1 touchdown. But last year, he gave up 4 touchdowns and didn't get a single interception. However, the year before, 2019, where this play was, he had 7 picks and no touchdowns. So he went from giving up a 55 passer rating to a 121, and there'll be more on kind of why that is later, but I want to just talk about this play in general and show what he's put on tape in the past. This is going to be a cover 1 robber, which means that, it's man coverage, but what you do is you have one safety who stays deep and one safety who's going to cover the middle of the field. Sometimes you'll do what's called a cover 1 hole, which is the same thing, but just a linebacker covers the middle of the field. But now it's it's a safety, and that's going to be Harris. That's why I've circled him, because Harris is circled in white here. And watch, once this play starts, you notice that Harris is, he kind of is moving over a little bit. It looks like the play might be going towards the player who I have and also in that black box. But Harris is doing a good job at making sure he looks at the quarterback. Look at the quarterback, see where the eyes are going, and, it's going to go to Julio Jones, which makes sense. You should almost always throw it to Julio Jones, but just make the read and realize what's going on. And watch how he's able to leap up in front of Julio and make that grab. Just an incredibly athletic play and a good read. So all of that is stuff he's capable of. He's done it for pretty much all of his career. Just because last year was kind of an exception, to me, I think that's the exception, not the rule. So I wanted to start off with this play. Now it shows some 2020 plays. And hey, it wasn't all bad either. Like, he wasn't atrocious out there. I thought he was pretty good still, despite the numbers not really showing that. We'll get more into the numbers in a second. But like a play like this, it's going to be that, he's actually just in a one-on-one matchup right now. He's going up against Jace Sternberger, who's not exactly, a household name. He was a 3rd-round pick 2 years ago. But really, it's just going to be about the coverage that he's going to put on here, because it's not a horrible route by any means. It's, a go route against this type of coverage. But watch what Harris is going to do. Rodgers takes the snap, and Harris, I think that, in this situation, you see a lot of defensive backs panic, but it's a little bit hard to see, I know, because it's, a little bit small, but Harris has his head turned back at this point. He's looking at the ball. He basically just looked at, the tight end who he's covering and kind of said, okay, I see your body language that you're looking back now, so I'm also going to look back. And he knows that his speed is good enough in this matchup that he can look towards the ball. And this ball is going to be a little bit overthrown, which is intentional. Rodgers basically, the mindset is you throw it over Harris and hope that your tight end can sort of make up the ground and make the grab. And if he can't, well then cool. It's just an interception. It's just an incompletion instead of an interception. Like, as you see, it goes over his head. But if that was a lower throw, that could have been picked. So again, part of it really is that, honestly, Harris didn't have a lot of great opportunities like that, like he's had in previous years, but he certainly, again, he had some splash plays, and he had some big plays. This one's a great example. Again, we're talking about that Green Bay game, and what's going to happen is that he's going to be supposed to get blocked by that guy. That's the matchup right here. It's a receiver blocking Harris, and this is not going to go too well. It's Marquez Valdes-Scantling who's trying to block him, and watch what happens. Harris just completely runs over him and actually makes this tackle. It looks kind of like he might have gotten a touchdown. They ruled it a touchdown, but overturned it. So Harris actually made a touchdown saving tackle, and Green Bay ended up not scoring on this drive. They got stopped on 4th down. So there you go. That's one big play, and he can make those big plays. Physically, he's incredible. So now let's shift over to this play, because I'm sure you're wondering, well, if he's so good and he makes smart plays, well then how did he have such a bad passer rating against last year? What happened last year? Why did last year not go as well? Was it just the fact that he was playing with worse teammates? Well, a little. I mean, that was certainly a part of it. So like this play is a good example. It's a cover 3 zone, and you see the route this is going to be a touchdown, so just know that ahead of time. And you would think, okay, there's no way Harris should even have to worry about this kind of route. Once this play starts, I mean, the ball's going to go there pretty much immediately, and to Harris's fault, I would say, he does kind of jog over. And I get it, like the ball's so far away, he could have maybe ran over and helped make the play. He probably should have been sprinting right out of the gate instead of jogging. It's fair to criticize him for it. I get it, but I mean, you got to hustle there. Like it just is what it is. There's only so many things you can control. Hustling is one of them. That doesn't cost anything to run as hard as you can on a play like this. And as you see, there's actually a broken tackle. And had Harris been running this out, I think he probably could make the tackle, or at least would have had a better shot too. So you can criticize him. Why am I bringing up this play exactly? Well, A, it's fair to show a play that someone doesn't hustle out of the gate. Those are fair. Also, I think it's worth bringing up that this was one of the touchdowns that Pro Football Focus credited him with, which I find interesting because obviously had he had a teammate who made a better play, that never would have happened. The catch wouldn't have even happened, let alone the touchdown. So I don't think it's really fair to put the touchdown on him, but that's part of how these numbers can get a bit inflated is sometimes your teammate screws up and it gets put on your hands. The only other fault I really see in his game would be a play like this, where what's going to happen is that it's a cover 2 zone right now, which that's another thing about Harris is I do feel like, he can do it all. He can play cover 2, cover 1, he can be the strong safety, the free safety, whatever. He's good at all this stuff. But you see the route that I have pointed out here. What's interesting is going to be sometimes I just feel like he's a bit slow in picking up who he should pick up. I would like to see him be a bit more aggressive, because watch, once this play starts, I mean, you notice that right here, I just feel like Harris is kind of just letting a Green Bay player just completely go over there, where it's like, clearly that's your guy. That's who you should be covering. And maybe he just feels like, oh, well, he trusts his burst. He trusts that if the ball does go there, he can come back and make the play. But when he tries to get over there, he ends up kind of going too quickly and stumbles and just never regains his footing and falls down. So kind of an embarrassing play from him. But it's embarrassing because it was set up by him just being a little bit too lazy, lackadaisical in starting to get there. I don't want to call him lazy, really, because, again, I think that he just trusts his footwork. But it's like, just make that move slightly quicker. Be a bit more aggressive. I'm not saying you have to start sprinting immediately, but just sort of, it's okay to sort of stutter step in that direction while maintaining eye contact with Rodgers. That's fine. But honestly, despite a few flaws, he's really good. His talent is absolutely out there. He has great physical tools, and is a pretty smart player despite being a pretty young player. So he's absolutely, he's a good player. So yeah, that's what I think of this move. What do you guys think of this move? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.